right. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to, I got one more person to admit here. Welcome to the November 2025 edition of Rotary Club Zoom meetings. Um, let's see, I have another person to admit. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker for this evening. It's past District Governor 6950 Eloy Nunez. Dr. Eloy Nunez is a retired lieutenant from the Miami-Dade Police Department, where he served 26 years and was involved in the security planning of 2 Super Bowls, which I thought was cool, as well as the free area of the American Conference in 2003 and the presidential debates in 2004. As a commander of the Emergency Operations Unit, then Lieutenant Nunez participated in the peaceful resolution of over 200 hostage and barricaded subject incidents. He retired from Miami-Dade in 2007 and moved to Citrus County, where he and his wife Maria became members of the Rotary Club of Inverness. Upon his retirement from Miami-Dade, Dr. Nunez became a full-time associate professor at St. Leo's University, Department of Public Safety Administration. He served in the capacity until he retired in 2018 to focus on his duties as a Rotary District Governor. Nevertheless, Dr. Nunez never really left the university. He continued to teach as a part-time adjunct professor, teaching a doctoral level leadership course, as well as command schools for law enforcement agencies throughout Florida and Virginia. The relationship with St. Leo University continues to this day, and in the form of partnership with the Tampa Bay Area Alliance for Peace and Conflict Resolution for the implementation of the organization's The First 30 Seconds Project. As a past Rotary District Governor, Dr. Nunez serves on various committees and is currently the chairman of the District Peace and Conflict Resolution Committee, and he is also a member of the Rotary Action Group for Peace. Welcome, Eloy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alicia. I heard that some of you were speaking French, and I couldn't understand a word you said, even though I took 2 years in high school. And my French teacher said that I spoke French with a Cuban accent. So that was a blow. Boy, that killed me when I heard that. But it's such a beautiful language, so that was nice to hear you. So thank you. Anyways, can I share my screen or?
Go ahead, yes.
All right. So what I'd like to do, being that there's like 5 past governors. Hold on, I just had it up here a second ago. Sorry, I gotta start over. Give me 1 second, please. I got too many windows open. This is why I came on early, so this wouldn't happen, and I still did it. So if you bear with me. Mm.
We're seeing your screen now, Eloy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it on the view, whatever you call that. But every time I try to move the thing so I can get to the. Oh, this is so frustrating. Sorry. It, it cuts it out and I can't get to that button. Here we go. All right, so there it is. So, anyways, there's a lot of learned individuals, to say the least. I think I counted like 5 past history governors in your club, and a lot of experienced Rotarians. So, what I'd like to do, rather than just talk about peace and conflict resolution, is to just have an open discussion. I have a program, but I like to just get your input throughout. So feel free to chime in anytime. I can't see all of you, but I can see most of you. So just if you want to chime in, just talk. So uh, I think Alicia mentioned the first 30 seconds project. That's the project I've been working on. It was conceived 5 years ago, right after COVID and the Summer of Love riots, as they were called. So a couple of us were very upset about seeing all these riots and stuff. It's still going on today, unfortunately. And we decided to do something about it. And it's a Rotarian-based project. And I'll talk more about it in a second. Then we'll talk about all the peace and conflict resolution things that Rotary is involved in, both abroad and domestically. But I'd like to start off with this. It's a very short video. It's a minute 48 seconds. And this is one of our projects in District 6950. So let me start it here. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it.
Think you need to share your sound, Eloy.
Understand the things that we think. Understand that there's many complex things.
Hmm. No, we're still not hearing any sound.
Can you turn that sound up, Eloy, somehow?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I have to get out of it. I have to stop the share to do that because I can't get to my volume. Sorry about that. So you can't hear it at all?
No.
All right, let me crank it
Eloy,
up.
I think when you go, to the share button,
Uh-huh.
then on the right hand side, click the button where it says share sound.
Share sound. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, tell me, I don't see that button, but can tell me, I just
Eh,
raised my volume. Tell me if you hear it better now. Is it better or not?
Nope.
No.
No? All right.
Nope.
Okay, so let's just skip that. Forget it. It's you'll see a couple of Rotarians in our district, Steve Harnett, Charlie Rogers there, and hi Becky, by the way, Governor. Thanks for
Hello.
joining. Thanks. Now we got like six governors on this club. My goodness. Although Becky's a visitor, there's a lot of governors here. So Becky, what I was telling everybody is I like to make this presentation to be just an interaction with
Mm-hmm.
everybody. So rather than just be talking all the time, if we could do it that way, that would be better, I think. So where am I? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
All right. So everybody's on. Okay, so we'll just skip the video. You can see it on online if you'd like. I can send you the video. It's only a minute 48 seconds, anyways. So as you all know, and this is an experienced group, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We see the seven areas of focus, which, in my opinion, peace and conflict resolution, all of them overlap if you think about it. Wherever there's war and migration and there's disease and there's lack of education and maternal health issues, water issues, economic problems, and the environment suffers. It's all cause and effect and an avalanche effect. So I think we can all agree that all seven are interrelated. I think Rotary does it this way so we can kind of understand what we do. But it is, and I would make an argument that either as a cause or an effect, peace and conflict resolution overarches all of these other ones. So we're going to look at peace and conflict resolution from before and after, as far as preventing it and then trying to resolve it after it happens. I think we can all agree that after a war happens or a conflict, a domestic conflict such as riots, it's harder to solve after it happens. The scars are there, and there's problems that go on and on even after the peace breaks out. So, a lot of these things is about prevention of conflict in the first place, and we'll talk about several of these. Uh, are there any members of the Rotary Action Group for Peace on this call? Anybody? No? Okay, something. It's like $20 a year to join, and you get to meet with other Rotarians all over the world online via Zoom, such as this club is doing now. And you get to, if you have a peace project, and I'd like to hear if you all do have a peace project, and you may have a project already that you may not even have thought of it as a peace project. That's another angle that I would like you to talk about also. But if you're in the Rotary Action Group for Peace, it's a good way to meet a lot of people throughout the whole world. I was able to do my presentation about the first 30 seconds. Uh, to many different countries at the same time. It's a good way to exchange ideas with people, Rotarians from all over the world. You can also become a peace builder club if that's something that you're interested in. And again, it's more of a ceremonial recognition thing, but it's a nice thing to do. If you want to talk about that, or you can call me or email me at any time. I can help you direct get involved in that aspect. Uh, we recently opened 2 months ago the Florida chapter of the Rotary Action Group. I think there's about 12 different Rotary clubs in Florida that are now members. George Berruti of the St. Petersburg Club is the chairman of that group, and I am the secretary for now. So this is a pretty old one. It's 2019, a peace map that shows uh, peace projects throughout the world, and you see all dispersed throughout the world. Just something interesting. If you go on the website, you can actually hover your mouse, your cursor over these. You can zoom in and actually see different peace projects throughout the entire world. So one of the things that we've been doing for the last 3 years, sadly, is dealing with the war that broke out in Ukraine. And our district has been a leader in that. Chuck O'Daney and Terry Collier, namely, are two individuals that are uh, helping out a lot of the refugee families, getting them established momentarily in our district in Florida. And also, I think they trained 10 doctors from Ukraine. They came to Tampa, trained here on how to deal with war injuries. So they house those doctors. A lot of things that Rotarians can do and are doing. My club, for example, collects surplus medical supplies and have sent those medical supplies to Ukraine and other places, but that's what we're focusing on now. Anybody involved in this so far that you want to talk about, or if you're interested in doing, I can help you get started with that. So please jump right in at any time and during this presentation. If you are interested in sponsoring a Ukrainian family, you could call Chuck O'Daney or Terry Collier. They're on DACDB. If you want to get their uh, email addresses or phone number, you can contact them, or go to directly to Rotary International, Fergal McCarthy, um, is involved in the overall planning and execution of this project.
And I can say
So,
I've been to the meeting, and that the Ukraine project with the medical supplies it's a good bona fide program. They're really making it work. The transportation, getting stuff in and out, they're making sure that it gets where it needs to go. And that's kind of the tricky thing, because you don't want somebody blocking it, or
yeah.
getting it there and then it gets stolen. So I know I've been to that meeting in Inverness, and they're
Oh, thank you, Paul. That's a great point. Yeah, collecting the stuff is the easy part, but like you said, there's so many barriers along the way, possible barriers, anytime you enter a war zone. So thank you for chiming in on that. Um, Rotary Youth Exchange, I know Suzanne Nielsen is on the call. She's involved in a lot of the youth projects. Has been for a long time. Rotary Friendship Exchange. I'm sure that many of you have been to a Rotary International Convention, being that there's so
I've
many.
been on 2 GSE trips, so that's what
Okay.
happened to GSE, guys. It went to what's
Hmm.
now called the Friendship Committee. A lot of people don't know that. It's a different way of financing it. I think it's under foundation, isn't it?
I believe so. So
Yeah.
GSE, for those newer Rotarians, can you say what GSE was?
GSE was a cultural and vocational exchange of
Mhm.
1 month. Started with 6 weeks now. Then it went to 1 month because you get fired if you're leaving your company for more than 3 weeks in America. So
Mhm.
most of the people I took along lost their jobs and had to start
Oh,
over
really?
when they came back. Yep, that's what happens when you work for a living. Anyway, but I went to Germany and to Bangladesh. I went to Germany as a team member, non-Rotarian, 25 to 42 years old is what the, or to
Mhm.
40, and then as a team leader to Bangladesh, which was an interesting trip in 2006. And we have done in 2020 talk about it, and it's still on our Facebook page. So if somebody wants to go back to 220 and look at our Facebook, we can see an hour-long talk about it that I did. But the friendship committee the friendship exchange is a little bit different because it's not a direct exchange anymore.
Mhm.
So it has to be carried by the individual district and the individual Rotarians. And that's very hard to finance. Personally, people, then giving of themselves back and forth. We think youth exchange, I think youth exchange and the youth programs are much easier to work because they're so established. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And nothing's real easy because there's a lot of moving parts. But I think, would you agree that this is a part of peace and conflict resolution?
Absolutely. We hope that you make friends in another country and you don't go to war for that reason. So
Absolutely.
it's a very much of world peace, one person at a time. And we've got
Amen. Yeah.
2 kids out there from our district right now that are in Thailand and in Taiwan, and I want you all, RYESE, Rotary Youth Exchange Southeast.org. Go on there, look at the kids, and look at Mari, who is blogging like a mad person, crazy, lots and lots of things about Thailand. So they have to blog back monthly, and they tell you about their stay, their year-long stay in 3 host families. So I usually bring in half the kids every year. So this year I've got 4 candidates recruited. And so we're looking forward to vetting them very soon and getting them
Awesome.
their
It's glad to
countries.
see it's coming back after
Yep.
COVID kind of just put
Yeah.
everything.
I
But
work very hard. We work very hard. Yep.
yeah, good. Thank you
Doug
for
Lob
doing that. Yeah. So
Doug
there were
Lobel is
you
running it.
yeah, Doug LaBelle's and Connie too. They've been involved in
And
that for many
Connie's
years.
head of the entire Southeastern program now. So
Yeah, she
yeah.
is, and they've done a marvelous job. And whenever they had a exchange student, Maria and I would take them for a weekend or so because we're like the relief pitchers, so that Connie and Doug could go on vacation, get away from the kids for a while. But so we have one young lady from Holland, and she when she went back, she says, "I'm going to be the prime minister of Holland someday," and I have no doubt that she will someday. I said, "Just don't declare war on us now, now that you're going to be," but
Well, there
it is.
are universities where people come from other countries, and I have a friend who I went to school with in Iceland as in 3rd grade, and she went to, is that called Thunderbird? I don't know. It's a university anyway. But the president of Iceland, the female president of Iceland, went to school in the States in that university. So
Oh, cool.
we're worldwide, and it's not just Rotary, but it is really nice to see this global
Yeah.
initiatives. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I think we're gonna all agree that when you start visiting each other and see each other as friends, and it it it's harder to declare war on each other when that
It is.
happens, when you actually
And
know the
the
person.
Rotarians can always get you out of the country, which is always good to
That's
know,
true. That's
especially when
true.
we were in Bangladesh with terrorism. So we were the lucky ones.
Yeah,
We got back home.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So some of the other things, the global scholarships, that we have one young lady in our club that got her PhD in South Africa, and she reports to our club about 3 or 4 times a year via Zoom, and just a really nice opportunity for a young lady or a young man to take advantage of, and Rotary pays for the whole thing, so it's really cool. Now, the Rotary Peace Centers, I'm sure many of you are aware, that's something according to I changed the map that I had before
Mm.
because this one includes the newest one in Turkey,
Oh, good.
and yeah, we just submit. From what I hear, there's about 180 every year that it's 1,800 so far.
Well, the
The,
closest to us is Duke University, but we also had a member of this club for a while who had gone to, I think, Australia or New Zealand and found a husband in Samoa.
a
And
husband.
so there's a lot of interesting. Lynn Famali was very instrumental in changing a lot of
That's
minds.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one in Duke and also North Carolina, which is 10 miles away. Both universities are peace centers. And I just had some talks with San Leo University the other day. I'm on an advisory council, and they're interested in possibly becoming a peace center. I mean, very preliminary talks. Becky, just to let you know, 2 days ago, something they were talking about. I don't know the feasibility or the actual process for becoming, a peace center, but San Leo University is actually very interested in that. So something that we can talk about also afterward. So here's a gentleman
Okay.
that I met at one of the international conventions. He spoke, or I think it might have been a zone. Sorry. And at the time he was a lieutenant, but then I got promoted to captain. And one of the neat things about these peace fellows is they stay in Rotary as spokespersons for a long time in perpetuity, basically. And they're great representatives for Rotary, and that's when I first started realizing that the link from Rotary to police work. So after talking, hearing this gentleman speak, uh, Suzanne, there's your new gen uh, peace builders that's involving
Well,
interactors in the
I'm the district alumni chair. So all these
correct.
people, if they get a penny from Rotary, they're alumni. So they
Hmm.
are forever in our, and we really
Exactly.
need to invite them to clubs and keep
Hmm.
people in the fold and do fun things with them. They're happy to paint houses and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
We
yeah.
had a group of interactors on a project that we did today at a park today. So working with interactors and rotaractors, it just brings vitality, in my opinion. So it's a really, really good thing. And I want to talk about peace polls in a minute and how, oh, there it goes. There's the next slide. And this is from the three Dunedin clubs got together 3 years ago. They're going on their fourth year. Becky has been there, visited last year's, and it's just a really cool, and it's a low hanging fruit. It's very inexpensive. The peace pole is probably around $450, and it just brings the whole community together. Somebody asked me the other day, what's the big deal? What's a peace pole? And like an idiot, I said, well, it's a piece of wood. That's all that I could think of at that time. I'm not the most erudite individual. Sometimes I just get stuck. And then I said, I almost made it worse by saying, well, it could be plastic too, but that would have been even really stupid. So I finally got it out of me. I said, well, it's really more of a symbolic thing. The piece of wood, it's got 8 languages on it of your choice. It's just a place for people to come and reflect and to think about peace and talk about peace and sing about peace. And it's a really, really cool. Our district now has 6 peace poles, and there's about 10 more in the planning. My club is going to set one up in a park in Inverness, Florida, that we're having for the last 6 years, we've been raising money for an all-inclusive playground for handicapped kids, and it's a really cool thing. And the city of Inverness has been a great partner, and we're going to put a peace pole right in the same park where the playground is going to be. So that's a really, really thing. It's something that you can do every year. Come visit it. Either Rotary's birthday in February or International Peace Day in September are two logical times to do that. Tarpon Springs just did one a few months ago, and also Pasco Hernando State College did one, a beautiful one in with the Rotary Club of Seven Rivers and the Rotaract Club, and there's pictures of it right there. Becky, you were there with Derek was also there, and Chris, different governors. That was a really cool ceremony because they had food from different countries, and everybody got to share and eat. And wherever there's food, there's also happiness and joy. So that was a really nice event. I don't know if your club, because your club, I looked at the map of where your club members meet, they're all over the place. So I don't know where if you would ever do one, but you could do more than one if that's something you consider. It's a low-hanging fruit. It's fairly inexpensive as a project. Our club agreed to budget $2,000 for it, and we've already raised 1,300 out of our own just in like a week. People are paying, so it's a really cool project. Again, if you involve rotaractors and interactors, it really makes it even more vibrant. You're an e-club, so you'd have to figure out if you do something like this, where.
Eloy,
Typically,
this is the
yes,
West Campus. This was Newport Richie.
yes, it's the one on Bridge
Okay.
Road. That's a
Yeah,
beautiful place where we've
that's
been
the main
having a lot of our
campus.
training. Is
Because
that the
I
main
teach from the
campus?
East Campus. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm a professor at this college, but I teach at the East Campus. I mean, I teach
okay.
remotely, so again, E Club remotely. So
Right,
maybe
right.
we should make a remote one, Alicia. Maybe we should put one on our website. Okay.
You can be, yeah, you can be as creative as you want, as you want. So, I mean, the whole thing is about bringing people together of one mind to, you know, preserve
Yeah.
peace as much as possible. So it'd be really cool. Uh, these are the ones that are being already active. For example, the Rotary Club of Trinity, Becky's club, along with Newport Richie, right, Becky, are working together to do a peace poll at the Paul Harris House. Is it Safety Town? Is that, am I saying it correctly?
Yep, yep, that's
Oh,
correct.
which is kind of cool. It's, it's a replica of Paul Harris's house, and having a peace poll there would be a really, really cool thing. I know you're working on it. I don't know how far along you are, but Jamie told me it's coming along. So,
Yeah, I'm not really involved, but I
okay.
know that they've
All
been
right.
working on the house is already built and all of that.
Okay.
But, yep.
That's a logical place to do it. I mean, it makes a
hmm
lot of sense. So, the two
Well, and
Seminole Club. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's great if those of you that aren't familiar with Safety Town, it's a whole village. I think in Pinellas County they have something called Enterprise Village or something like that I went to when I was younger. But
Yeah.
there's thousands of kids that tour through it, and
They learn
there's
business, right, Becky? They
yeah.
learn how to do business.
Yeah, so there's like a Home Depot there. There's a restaurant there, and they tour through it, and they are, some work at the Home Depot, some work at the different locations that are there. I think there's a fire department, and
They're
but the purpose,
cashiers and
yeah, the purpose of the Paul Harris House was for them to learn about community service. So they'll go through in each of the Rotary clubs and Area 6 will have a wall that talks about the service projects that we do.
Well, I hope this club, the E Club, considers doing one peace poll or multiple peace polls in different locations. I know you're spread out through Florida and even Ohio and California and different places, but if you can settle maybe universities, colleges make a really good idea, parks, libraries, etc. And you're seeing more and more. There's 6 so far in our district, with about 10 more in the works. I think throughout the whole world there's 22,000. And it's an idea that started in Japan due to the bombing, uh, after World War II, the nuclear bomb. So we've been doing peace things, and you see Will Miller is there, and another governor next to him. We did the conflict resolution symposium in 2016. It was sponsored by San Leo University and Rotary, and you have a whole bunch of Rotarians,
Eloy.
invited
I was
police.
there.
You were there, I do
Yeah, I
remember.
was there. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a
So
good
that's
memory, Suzanne.
it's the
And
only time we met in person.
yeah, so that it
Um,
was a real cool thing. It was a 2-day thing. It was a symposium. We did different scenarios, and the police officers talked about how to avoid conflict. And the coolest part of the whole thing, we had 4 Interact students doing community service hours there, and they were there just as scribes. They weren't there to participate. But lo and behold, the officers would ask them their opinion, and they became like central to the whole symposium. The officers would turn to them, young ladies, what do you think? You see the two of them at the bottom right. That was really, really interesting. That the officers would turn to them for wisdom, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, in April 2022, you'll see uh, Charlie and Chris, and I know Derek was there, and my good friend Rick Walker, who passed away. And we had 50 people in the audience. We had what's called a fishbowl approach to brainstorming, with 6 people on the inner brainstorming part, which you see there, and then another 40 something people on the outer. And what that does, it takes the best of a small group and mixes it in with the best of a large group. If you have a large group of 50 people, brainstorming is not easy because it just gets too large and too unwieldy. But if the outside group is looking at the inside group brainstorming, and then they observe it and then they fill in other gaps. So that worked really, really good. The first 30 seconds project that I'm going to talk about now, it came to me as an idea because my good friend Michael Flynn, who was the president of the Central Pinellas Club, suddenly passed away only months after he had retired. In fact, we named the project after Yvette Flynn and Michael Flynn. Yvette was also a member of Rotary, and I think she's back with one of the clubs. We last saw her at the district award ceremony. So we had this conference, and from this workshop, we were able to refine the first 30 seconds concept. This is 2 years ago when Chris was the district governor, and this is in Orlando. This is the district peace committee, or most of it, not the entire thing. We had an open forum and a discussion forum in front of the audience of Rotarians during the district conference. By the way, if anybody's interested in joining the district peace committee, all you got to do is ask me or send me an email or George Beirути, and you're automatically on the peace committee. And what we do, we meet about 2 or 3 times a year, and we talk about peace polls, et cetera, in our different projects. So if it's something that you're interested in as an individual, please see me, and we'll put you on the list, and you'll receive our emails. So I'm talking too much, so let me know if I need to stop. But can I talk about the first 30 seconds project? Okay, so this is my own thing that we thought about 5 years ago, right after COVID. And so let me get into it real quick. And basically, our mission statement is very simple. We want to save lives and livelihoods during police and non-police confrontations. So every time I do one of these talks at a Rotary club, the Rotarians will raise their hand and tell me their stories about how nervous they feel. What do I do if I get stopped the next time? Should I get my license? Should I hold on to the steering wheel? Should I confess like I was confessing to a priest? What do I do? What do I do? So I give them some tips. Uh, so basically, we're focusing more on high school kids that are just started driving or about to start driving. We look at driver's ed classes is the most logical class, but we've also done football teams and different groups of kids. We're up to 530 something kids that we've affected so far. Not to say that some of them don't listen. You never know if you're talking to kids, high school kids, if they're paying attention. I think we are reaching most of them. You can kind of just tell by looking at their eyes whether they're paying attention or not. So basically, just to give you background as to what the root causes that we're trying to affect is the fight, flight, freeze syndrome. And typically, when you are under a lot of stress, those are the reactions that we innately have as human beings. I think everybody here on this call can remember a time where they either froze or fled or fought back when they were heavily stressed. So, what we're trying to do, you hear a lot about de escalation, and yes, absolutely, we have to de escalate things when they break out, whether there's a hostage call or any critical incident. We want to de-escalate. Sometimes it'll take the longest SWAT call that I remember was a 12-hour standoff with a murder subject. Uh, Typically, it gets resolved in 2 or 3 hours. Those SWAT call-outs, but sometimes it goes further. And to me, it makes a lot more sense to pre-escalate, to try to resolve the problem before it happens. So there you see what a diagram of a timeline of a traffic stop. And we talk about green, yellow, and red. There's just three simple colors, same colors as the traffic light. Where red, well, let's start off with green. Green is when you're at home and watching television, relax after a hard day's work, and you're totally safe and relaxed. Red is when you are so panicked, it's a panic response, which is a good mechanism for adapting to danger to be able to do that. But also, if you run it for too long, it can be counterproductive. It could also give you tunnel vision, and you could also get that urge to flee or freeze or sometimes fight. So we want, as a police officer, for 26 years that I dealt with this, uh, a police officer never wants to get into red mode because you lose control. You always want to stay focused and alert, calm and alert, and that's the yellow in between. So the more uh, calm you are, the chances are that you're not going to do something really stupid. Well, we also want to put the driver in that same state of being, that calm alert. If you ever watched on the National Geographic channel, the dog whisperer, and now they have a new. That's the way that man. He doesn't train the dogs. The dog with Caesar Milan is his name. You ever get a chance, the dog whisperer. He doesn't teach the dogs. He teaches the owner of the dogs to train the dogs. And the whole thing about it with his methodology is to calm the dogs, calm the owners. If everybody's calm, there's a less likelihood of having problematic behavior. So we try to do it the pre-escalate at the moment that you get stopped by the police. There's about a 30-second time. That's why it's called the first 30 seconds that you get stopped by the police, you look in your mirror and you can see the blue lights, and then your mind starts panicking a little bit. And I've been on both sides of that. I've stopped thousands of cars, but I've also been stopped. It's a very unnerving, very not a nice thing to get stopped. So what we're trying to teach the kids, and you'll see some of the mechanisms that we do, the breathing exercises, the do's and don'ts, etc. That's to pre-escalate, to try to keep them as calm as the police officer is calm. The officers are trained all the time, but the person that's driving, he's not trained for that. They don't teach that in school. They don't teach that in driver's ed, what to do and say when the police stops you. So the theoretical framework is based on a pop psychology, very overly simplistic. It's not Freud, it's not Carl Jung, it's pop psychology, but it's a good fit here because it's about transactions. In the book that was very popular in the early 70s, I'm okay, you're okay. And basically, these are the two transactions, and we call it the officer friendly model, which doesn't really work very well because the officer tries to be, uh, and you see parent, adult, child, PAC. So you have the officer in the typical traffic stop, if he's stopping a young driver, is friendly but authoritarian, and it's a parent talking to a child. It's talking down to the child. So when a parent talks to a child, the child can be submissive, or he or she can react the other way and become belligerent and combative. So we're trying to avoid that. As an officer, I don't care if you like me. I just want you to to respect me, and I'm going to respect you back. It's that kind of. And what we on the right side, you see the business model, which is adult to adult, and you want to have that in the yellow, calm, alert state where both sides are calm and alert, but each one treats each other as an adult, and I think that's the secret. So it's kind of a simplistic, overly simplistic model, but for the context of this project, it works perfectly. So who's our clients? We're focusing mostly on high school kids. We tried some middle school kids, but they're kind of goofy and driving is not something in their horizon yet, so it didn't really sink in. So we found that driver's ed in high school is a perfect one, but also parents and regular Rotarians are asking, what do I do if I get stopped by the police? So we provide classes for adults. It's based on six steps. The whole idea, the beginning of the idea happened when I thought it would be a good idea. Policemen talking to kids. Kids don't trust the police. Some people don't like the police. So if a police officer goes by himself or herself, classroom, you match officer with a role model, such as a football player, basketball player, baseball player, whatever, it is so much, the kids will open their ears more, especially if those two, the officer and the football player, work as a tandem, as a team. Right now, I have Eric Douglas, who I think is the incoming president of the Wesley Chapel Club, and Steve Hartnett, who's the past president, I believe, of the Seven Rivers Club. Those two work as a team. They're outstanding. They are so good, and we've done it at different high schools. So they're our two best trainers. By the way, we certify the trainers, and we have one who was a NFL retired NFL player, Kenny Stills Sr. Played for the Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. He's a sweetheart of a man, and he's one of our best trainers. So coupling those two individuals as a team when they go into the classroom is very important. Number two, storytelling. Eric starts off with a story about when he was a football player. He got cold cocked by a pulling guard and knocked out, broke his nose, and that gets the kid's attention. Well, it's not just a story for the sake of a story, because then comes Steve and takes that story and talks about unintended consequences and expectations and how your day can suddenly change from good to bad really quick and how you can recover from that. So those two, they tell the stories, but they bring it back toward this context, which is what we're trying to do. The third step is role playing, and we get the kids. You may see the picture at the bottom. We have a little contraption that one of our Rotarians in my club came out made out of PVC, and it's like a little driving simulator. And one of the kids plays the role of the officer, the other kid plays the role of the kid getting stopped by the police. And we instruct them on what to say and do. So we do a role play. The rest of the class watches them as they do that. We also do cognitive learning. Again, there's 10 things that to say and do or not to do, and we go over that. But that goes in one ear and out the other sometimes, and sometimes they just don't recall or retain that knowledge cognitively. We provide it for them, so that's an important part. The breathing or relaxation techniques, I actually moved that to number three and to get it earlier on because we actually do some breathing exercises with the kids in the classroom. And I tell them a story about how I had a trainee one time. He used to freeze up when I was a police instructor. He was my trainee. And when he was driving the first time, I let him drive. And he clammed up and got into a panic attack when he put the siren on. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, a policeman can't run with a siren. So I told my sergeant, and the sergeant says, "Well, it looks like he's not going to be able to make it. We may have to terminate him." I said, "Sarge, give me one more attempt, and let's see if this works." Because I've always suffered when I was a youngster with anxiety, severe anxiety disorder, and I overcame that through breathing exercises. No Xanax, no drugs, nothing. Just basic breathing. It's diaphragmic breathing at the stomach with a diaphragm. And it's a very simple method. It's called the 4-7-8. We do 4 rounds of that in class. And I tell the kids, if you're an athlete, you'll perform better as an athlete. If you go for a job interview, this will help you there. If you're taking a test at school, the breathing will help you there. So you can do this and it'll make your life a lot better. Finally, we do a demonstrative affirmation where the kids teach us what we taught them. We like to do this on a subsequent visit about 2 weeks later. And what that does is retention. I learned a long time ago that when I teach, I learn and vice versa. So by them teaching us, they're actually learning. So I'm talking too fast. Do I need to stop? Alicia, any questions so far? Okay.
You good?
So here's
I'd like to
our
know,
board.
I'd
Yes,
like
go
to know a
ahead.
little bit more, whenever it would fit in with your presentation about the peace centers, the university-based, kind of their goals, maybe two or three of the focal points, and are they common throughout all the peace centers?
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, we nominated an employee from San Diego University. She didn't get selected. I thought she was an excellent candidate. It's a very competitive thing. I think they choose. Who knows about it? I'm trying to remember. The number 180 is in my head.
Eloy, I think the idea is that it's not all the same course of study. You have to have a course of study that will align itself with peace with the peace
Right.
project, with the peace
Right.
theme. Okay, so it's not every college that does that, but the students who are chosen then choose a field that
Right.
aligns itself with this idea of
Right.
peace.
And basically, yeah, it all comes back to peace, Brad. I think that was who asked that question.
Yes.
So, and then there's the master's program and there's the
Yes.
certificate program, and you can discern
Yeah,
from
these are
that.
graduate programs. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So it's very competitive, and it's something that if your club is interested in, I can direct you and you get more information on it. I wrote a letter of recommendation. Charlie Rogers didn't help the young lady get the position. It was unfortunate. I thought she would have been great. So we can get later to after this meeting if you like. We can talk more about that.
Okay.
If okay, Brad.
Sure. Thank
So
you.
this is our this is our board of directors. Almost all of them are Rotarians. I think Nikki Heister is the young lady that I was mentioning that we nominated. She was excellent. These are some of the stakeholders, the partners that are involved in our project, and it breaks it down by sources for trainers, uh, who are the schools that are involved. Unfortunately, right now, Pasco County and Citrus County are the two main ones. There's school districts that are involved in this, and of course, the police departments and all these have been very supportive, including the Tampa Bay Area uh, P, Chiefs Association as a whole have backed this project. So it's coming along slowly but surely, and there's different clubs that have received, and I'll add your club onto this afterward that have received this presentation. There's our footprint, our geographical footprint. The ones in black are the agencies that have already signed off on it and have already supported. The ones in gray have indicated an interest, but have not yet signed on to be a partner. Uh, what this project is and what it's not, I'll focus on on the one that I highlighted. It is not political or partisan. That's one of the cancers that destroys Rotary when you allow that to happen. And you know, we're all humans and we all say things sometimes flippantly and not thoughtfully. And I've seen so many clubs struggle with politics. So one of the things I insisted on is this absolutely cannot allow any partisanship or political influencing. We try not to be judgmental, and we're you know it's not about past racial injustice or we don't want to get entrapped with those issues. We just want to save lives and livelihoods. It's that simple. So I'm not going to go through all these because I've already spoken too much. There's a picture of Steve the other day at Wiregrass High School uh, in Pasco County. These are, by the way, these are the 10 things that we go over with. This is not my list. This came from a corporal from Pinellas County. These are the things. If you ever get stopped by the police, but just between me and you, the best thing you do is do nothing. Just put your hands on the steering wheel, wait for the officer to approach. Don't try to reach for your license. Don't start thinking about what to do. The process will play out as it is. If you get a bad officer, which is not often, but it is possible, and we all know that, or a good officer that's having a bad day, just play it cool. I tell the kids the way you're gonna win is in court. You're not gonna win during the actual traffic stop.
Becky.
So try to avoid getting in arguments and stuff like that. So there's the breathing exercises. We also give all the kids a wristband with the first 30 seconds. We tell them if they do get stopped, look at that wristband, have that be the focal point. So you can it's like an impromptu meditation with the breathing and also with the wristband. Just in that way, you're focusing, you're holding the steering wheel, focusing on the wristband. So we give every kid a wristband. And lastly, we're hoping that we can do some sort of either uh, video or somewhere where they teach us. So that's a synopsis of what we do, and of course, everything we tie it in to the four-way test, which is what keeps us. So sorry about going long and for bearing with me. I know I've gone way too long. Sorry about that.
No, that
So
was
does anybody have
fantastic.
any questions or comments or anything you'd like to do as a club? Whether you sponsor a Peace Fellow or a scholarship or Peace Poll, join our district Peace Committee. Please let me know. I can go sidebar with you and we can talk later on how to do it. So I'm open to any questions now.
My
Okay.
idea is to make this a virtual thing since we're an e-club. I really do think that we should be giving out, we should be partnering with the world rather than making them a stake in the ground.
Well, I'm hoping that at least one of you, or maybe as a club in general, to join the Rotary Action Group for Peace because all their meetings are online. So it seems like to me like it's a perfect fit for you all. And you can meet people not only uh, from Florida and the United States, but from all over the world. And they do it at different time zones, so everybody can participate. And they do what you do, which is videotape and distribute it later. So, anyways, thank you so much. Thank you for hearing me.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eloy, I had a question.
Mhm.
Aside from the efforts that you spoke about, that the foundation is involved in, either through its peace centers or other Rotarians, committees, boards, and so forth, are there efforts to work with the UN through our presence at the various UN centers around the world in the conflicts that are going on right now? I know you mentioned assistance in Ukraine, for example, to displaced people and so forth. But is there any effort to actually or have Rotarians through the efforts that we have, the committees, the peace centers, and so forth, been invited to the table and actually talk about resolving conflicts? And I'll just cut right to the chase. Are they involved in any discussions that take place with the State Department and or other departments in Ukraine or the Israel-Gaza situation?
Yeah, short answer is yes. In fact, it's my awareness. I've been made aware that Rotary is the only organization in the whole world that has an office at the United Nations
Right.
in New York, a direct. So that liaison's there all the time. Specifically, as far as all these other uh, conflicts around the world, Rotarians build those bonds between Rotary parties, whether it's Ukraine or in the Middle East, pretty much everywhere. There's so many other conflicts going on now that nobody even talks about because these others are taking the oxygen out of the air. But there's many other things going on. So Rotarians making relationships with other Rotarians from other countries. As far as the State Department, Suzanne will say this just to get the friendship club and also the youth exchange. That's
Yeah,
coordinated
Connie
through
has
the
to work
State
with the State
Department.
Department. It's a State
Yeah.
Department vetted program, and we're all trained through the State Department. But the UN has that office, Vince. It's had
Mhm.
it for forever, and so I'm sure if you wanted to contact them, that would go through Evanston, or you would find somebody physical to talk to.
Well, I know that they have that office and they've had it probably since the UN started because UN was involved, excuse me, Rotary was involved in the signing. I think we all know that. But there's my understanding is Rotary has representatives at almost all of the UN offices around the world, not
Mhm.
just New York. I think the official liaison sits in New York, but there are other people that are assigned to the UN offices around the world. Their role might be different, but um, I was looking at it more from a global, not just what office may participate, but um, it just seemed like something that would, I'm glad to hear your answer because it just seemed like it would be something that's very natural to me. We have all these graduates going through these peace centers who are out there representing Rotary and now have jobs, hopefully, and that their expertise would be used. And of course, in the media, we hear
One or
very
two
little
of the
of what's
one or
happening.
two of the girls that are applying for youth exchange right now went through Model UN with their charter school. So you have these kids that are already, they're going to go out for a year to another country, and they've already done Model UN here. So these kids are world citizens already when they're ready to go out. So we've they went through S4TL, and now they're going to go through youth exchange. These are our leaders of tomorrow.
That's a great
So
point,
we're very
Suzanne.
lucky, and I am very, very lucky that S4TL, that you guys sent me to S4TL, because these kids are the perfect youth exchange student.
That's a
They
great.
will actually carry our district out.
That's my favorite program, by the way. As many great
S4TL?
I love S4TL,
Yeah.
and they go in there as these goofy 11th graders. A week later, they come out as adults, Rotarians, and I go, "Oh my God, how did that happen? How do you make these kids so wonderful in just 1 week?" And it's the most amazing. I invited the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their front office staff, on 2 successive years. They were flabbergasted. They were so impressed. And then COVID came along that kind of knocked it down, but they were so impressed by
It's
it.
back up.
But
It's back
but
up.
the point is just that one kid at S4TL who goes on to do something else and something else. And along the way from early act, now we have Rotarians doing early act, which is crazy. But today we had third graders. It's so cool, but you influence all these minds and these seeds and 20, 30 years. You never know where it's going to lead.
Mhm.
And
Well, they
Rotary's
learn that
involved.
we're family. They learn that we are their family. And I think that's what they learn
Exactly.
at S4TL. And once they get
Yeah.
through that, they know that they're going to be taken care of wherever they go through
They
Rotary.
become
As,
stewards
and
of
as we
peace.
drive them home, from S4TL,
Yeah.
you can't shut them up,
Unless they fall asleep because they're so tired from the week. But
for
yeah.
that too.
It is so
Continue
cool. It
you
is so
guys.
But
I
it
take them
but
into my drop.
going in, they're quiet and kind of afraid and not quite
yeah.
sure what's going on. And coming home, it's
It,
a whole different picture.
Yeah.
So
but look at what we do as Rotarians. It's just and people always say, well, we never see the end result because you never see the child that gets cured or prevention for polio. We never see all the things we do. And I'm not going to take any more time, but my son had mental illness for 4 years ago. He went homeless, and it turned out that the club that he moved into an apartment after he was out, and he was fine now. He's doing great. But I took him to a Rotary Club right across the street from where he's living. And it turned out that Rotary Club was doing a project at Vincent House in Pinellas County, which is a wonderful organization that gets mentally ill people back into the swing of things and getting them back employed. And coincidentally, and I was on the committee that approved the grant for them, and I didn't know at the time that I'd be helping my own son. So I took him there to that club, and I said, I want you to meet somebody that you helped. Here's a real person that it's not an abstraction. And I told him the whole story. He was homeless for 10 months. It was brutal, but he's doing so good now. Then after I talked, I said, Eddie, you got anything to say? He gets up. He's wearing a $1 suit that he bought at Vincent House that he used it for the job interview, and he said, and he had a little tear in his eye. He says, "Thank you." Then he sat down. He couldn't talk, but it was so emotional there that these Rotarians can see a real life example of somebody they helped, and they had no knowledge of what they were doing. They just took it on faith that what they were doing was good, and here was a real life example. So that was a good moment for me, for my son, for that Rotary Club. It was the Pinellas Park Rotary, a really strong, good club in our district. So anyway, sorry for.
Eloy, I
I
have
would
a
just,
question. Was that part of, did St. Vincent de Paul run that?
No, I don't think it was a Saint Vincent. No, I don't know the name Vincent House where he
Okay.
came from. He came from a couple, an elderly couple They had a daughter who struggled through mental illness, and they cured her and got her back. But they said we want to do something for other people's daughters, other people's sons, and they did an incredible job. And wow, what a place! I visited there. I did a tour, and it's just one of the most loving places you'll ever see. Again, Rotary's involved. Rotary's behind the
Well,
scenes at every one
I
of them.
thought there might be a connection because my son, who's a therapist,
Mhm.
did an internship at a homeless, something very similar, and I think it might be that one, but
It
I
might
thought it
be.
was St. Vincent de Paul. But
It
anyway,
may
he
be.
was one of the directors there for a while. So Rotary connection.
That is it's incredible, small world. My son is now writing a book about those months where he spent in the Salvation Army with homeless veterans, saw one die right in front of him, a veteran, a homeless veteran. He's writing that book right now, so he's on chapter 4 right now, and so I'm encouraging him. I want to share those stories because it's an incredible story. So many things are out there, and Rotary is involved in every one of those. It's amazing. So thank you, Rotarians. Thank you so much
I
for
would
everything.
mention that Polio Plus is involved with 140 countries around the world,
Yeah. Wow.
spreading the Rotary message as we eradicate polio. Um,
Wow.
and in so many cases, we're having to deal with political
Hmm.
situations.
Right.
Nigeria is one in question right
Mhm.
now with all
Right.
the genocide that's going on. But
Yeah.
we have a polio outbreak in Nigeria, and it's a matter
Hmm.
of Rotarians working with WHO and UNICEF
Hmm.
to get the vaccines to the kids. So, we do good things in a lot of different ways.
Very courageous. And wherever there's war, that leads to polio and other diseases. Sadly, Nigeria, we just cleaned up polio, but that's going to come back. Probably, hopefully not, but Sudan is another one that we're not talking about. So it's like the constant struggle. But thank God for Rotarians. That's all I gotta say. So thank you all for listening to my babbling. Sorry I went off on tangents and stuff.
No,
So
fantastic, Eloy. Thank you.
well, thank you so much. You all have a great night. Are we done? Are we done?
No, we're done. We're going to end with the four-way test,
All
and
right, good.
then yeah,
Becky
Can
has
I
her
share
hand up.
something?
Thank you. Yeah.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
do you mind? So I just have something quickly to share and present. I know that we're over a little bit, but let me just share my screen because I want to recognize your club. There we go. Can y'all see that?
I don't,
So
not yet.
Yeah.
It,
yeah,
It's a
oh,
black
it looks,
screen, Becky.
it looks like it. There we go. So I just wanted to
You may have to start it over. You may have to reshare. There you go. Okay.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to pop on and recognize the Rotary Club, E-Club of the Southeast USA and Caribbean, because I received this certificate, which I'll send over to President Paul in a letter saying that your club is the Shelter Box Hero Award for Rotary Quarter 1. And that's in recognition of your outstanding commitment to families displaced by disaster and conflict, and your generosity and partnership exemplify Rotary's spirit of service and Shelter Box's mission to deliver shelter, hope, and dignity to those in crisis. And they gave a few examples of how Shelter Box is currently responding to multiple disasters around the world. So I think this ties in nicely to Eloy's peace talk. In Pakistan in early August, where rare cloudbursts and flash floods devastated northern communities during peak monsoon season. And Shelter Box is working with Islamic Relief Pakistan to reach the hardest hit areas and support recovery efforts in the eastern regions, still reeling from those catastrophic 2022 floods. In Afghanistan, 1 week later 3 powerful earthquakes struck Afghanistan, killing more than 2,000 people. And Shelterbox is actively responding to the death toll as it continues to rise. And then in Philippines, the communities are facing disaster after disaster. And exceptionally intense typhoon season has brought 6 major storms in under a month, forcing hundreds of thousands to flee. Now, a devastating earthquake has destroyed homes across Cebu in the Philippines. So I just wanted to come on and congratulate all of you for your support of Shelterbox on behalf of Shelterbox USA, and thank you for what you do.
No, thank you, Becky. Yeah, we have actually a line item. We buy a shelter box every year, so they'll be going out again this year. So thank you.
Welcome. So I'll send this over, but I wanted to hop on and make sure everyone saw it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becky, and we're glad you're here. And Eloy, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. It was good to see so many people stuck around for the whole thing.
Yeah, sorry, I went long.
No worries.
Thank
It
you.
was great.
Thank you.
Go ahead and do the 4-way test.
Okay, the first one is it the truth?
Truth.
Truth. Is
Second,
it
is it
fair
fair to all
fair to all
concerned?
concerned?
Third, will it
Will
build
it
Will it
goodwill
build
and better
goodwill and
friendships?
better friendships?
And fourth, will it be
Will it
beneficial
be
to all
beneficial to all
concerned?
concerned?
And of course, the fifth test,
What
is it
is-
fun?
There you go.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you. We will continue on in a few minutes, Paul, if you're ready, maybe about at 8:15 with the short board meeting.
Yeah, and while I got everybody here, just know that I am following the situation in Jamaica. They did get a bond for their island, so they have $24 billion to use to rebuild their country, but they also have a GDP of $24 billion. So this would keep their country alive for 1 year. So the sooner they get their stuff up and running, the sooner they can get their GDP and normal means running. I'm in touch with the Rotary people down there via the WhatsApp group and the Facebook group, and I'm also in touch with the U.S. Embassy. So just keep Jamaica and Alaska in your thoughts as we follow them and look for ways that we can help without creating any extra problems that they already have. We'll do a 15-minute break and we'll resume with the business meeting, correct?
Okay, all right.